Hey, folks. My name is Kevin Douglas Berg. This is what was I saying, blog KDB. I'm here to provoke thought and move humanity just a little bit. It's a little cool in here, a little hot in here, so I just have a water towel on me, so don't mind that. With everything going on in the world, with what happened a couple of days ago in Pennsylvania, with what was said after what has been spoken, I did not have a chance to see what's going on with Let's Do It to It, the current news, so you guys don't have to look through all of it. I'm going to try to keep my swearing to a minimum. It's going to be a hard one. NATO's warning China about Russia. All right, I'll just read it first, and then I'll talk about what I think about afterwards. China's tight bond with Russia, NATO's rare rebuke of China, could lead to actions pressuring the country to curb exports to Russia. Beijing denounced it as prejudice, smears, and provocation. China's tight bond with Russia is facing renewed condemnation from Washington and its allies after NATO issued its strong accusation yet that Chinese technology is sustaining Moscow's war in Ukraine. What are we doing? Aren't we sponsoring Ukraine to fight the war with our technology? Oh, well, okay. Leaders from the NATO alliance meeting in Washington declared that Beijing cannot enable the largest war in Europe in recent history, but the United States can, without facing repercussions. I don't. All right, I gotta plate this for a second. I just gotta plate this for a second and have my little thoughts. I don't understand. We don't have enough world situations unbalanced as it is. Israel, Hamas, Lebanon, Hezbollah, Putin, Ukraine, Poland now backing Ukraine. I don't know where NATO is going for diplomacy. I am not smart. I am not educated in that way at all. But I will bring back to you a story. My mom says, "Why aren't you doing good in this class?" And I would say, "Well, I'm doing bad in this class." She would say, "Well, you should do better in another class, not be messing up that as well." China knows darn well it can take Taiwan anytime it wants. Now we are saying, don't you dare back Russia when we're backing Ukraine? Oh, I'm sorry. We're not backing Ukraine, but we are backing Ukraine. But we're not. But we are. But they're corrupt. But they got 165 billion. But not the last 2. Oh, no. They're going to get the 2.3 billion. They're going to get the jets. They're going to get the air support. They're going to get the infrastructure. They're going to get the air missile systems. But they're corrupt. But China, don't you dare back Russia as we launch US missiles into Russian cities. Okay, here we go. Despite a widening web of Western bans and restrictions, Chinese semiconductors, machine tools, and other parts have become vital to Russia's arms industry, helping Moscow to keep up its grinding war, says American and European officials, intelligence agencies, and security experts. Once again, the world runs on bullshit. We tariff, we suppress, we stop trade with the country. The country finds a way around it. But China's leader Xi Jinping and President Vladimir V. Putin of Russia have repeatedly said their country's strong real relationship is a bulwark against American dominance. I mean, you got to see it for what it is. I don't think Mr. Xi is unlikely to easily bow to NATO's demands, and rightfully so. I mean, seriously, isn't this completely hypocritical? What did NATO say about China? NATO's declaration on Wednesday, it's the most full-throated so far about China, implied its 32-member governments would step up actions against China unless Beijing limits exports of dual-use components and technology to Russia. Don't do as we say. No, don't do as I do. Do as I say, not as I do. Sorry. It's a very weird move for NATO openly accused China, saying Beijing is massively supporting Russia's defense industrial base. Say Liao Xuanrang, an expert on China and Russia at the Institute of National Defense and Security Research, a government-funded research group in Taiwan. Clearly, the United States has won over some skeptics who do not see China as a key player in the Russian-Ukraine war. I'm going to bring it back. China is a key player once again. Why we are attempting another superpower as NATO? What's your guys' effing direction anymore? Really? What? It's not bad enough to do everything to piss off somebody who can possibly consider strategic nuclear weapons. That's not bad enough. No. We got to go back behind the people that are backing that nation, let alone we still back a nation that's not having a proxy war with Russia, but it's basically not a proxy war anymore because it's going to have our 15 strike eagles. It uses our missiles. It's going to use Poland's missiles. My God. I don't know. NATO has recently become more vocal about Chinese growing power, especially its trade ties and technology exports to Russia, after Mr. Putin launched a full invasion of Ukraine in 2022. I got 6 videos on exactly what happened for the last 25 years on that. I just want you guys to know. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Nope, 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 nope. And Putin has made it blatantly obvious of what NATO has done to the situation. The NATO leaders called Beijing a decisive enabler of Russia's war. They also broadly took aim in Chinese actions, such as cyber espionage and disinformation, calling them systematic challenges to Euro-Atlantic security. How close are China and Russia? Mr. Xi and Mr. Putin see each other like-minded leaders with shared fundamental interests of countering pressure encirclement by the United States and its allies. Rightfully so. Mr. Xi and Mr. Putin had met more than 40 times since Mr. Xi took office in 2002, most recently a little over a week ago. In early 2002, weeks before Mr. Putin launched his invasion of Ukraine, the two leaders said their country's partnership has no limits. Beijing has refused to condemn the invasion and even call it an invasion. I told you, China and India are staying on the sidelines. Instead, Chinese manufacturers and trades have become inventive at skirting detection, especially at selling dual-use technology, which can be employed either for civilian or military needs. What has China been supplying and getting in return. A growing pile of evidence from the foreign intelligence agencies and investigators and journalists indicate Chinese companies have rapidly expanded technology exports that end up in Russian drones, military aircraft, missiles, and other weapons used on the battlefields of Ukraine. Sometimes Chinese companies sell components such as light sensors and microchips that end up in Russian weapons. Sometimes they sell underlying manufacturing technology, such as machine tools that helps Russian weapons manufacturing running. The outcome, says analysts, is that Chinese know-how has become vital to sustaining Russia's war effort, even if Beijing isn't selling assembled weapons. The Biden administration has imposed sanctions on dozens of Chinese companies, as well as traders in Hong Kong and elsewhere who sell the parts on. Sometimes Chinese companies supply Russia use chains of intermediary companies that include more than a dozen firms, said an assessment of sanctions on Russia from the U.S. Office of the Director of National Intelligence released in April. In other cases, descriptions of items in shipments are intentionally vague, and the volume of goods and exports unreported. The murkiness of the trade makes it difficult to estimate its scale, and Russia also illicitly buys parts from Western firms. One study from the Kiev School of Economics Institute and Yermak McFall International Working Group on Russian sanctions said 59% of Russia's imports of critical components that can go into war-fighting equipment originated in China. I gotta see how long this is because I'm gonna break this down. I don't want to make it too long. Oh, I don't even know how long. Oh, it's 11 minutes right now. Okay. That's the first part of this. Now we'll go into why are NATO countries criticizing China now in the second part. My name's Kevin Douglas Berg. What was I saying about KDB? We always break it down with prayer. Pray for you, pray for me, pray for all the leaders of all the countries, of all the worlds, of all the religions, of all the different parties, of all the different ideologies, that we maintain sanity and there is no violence. Pray for you and me, world peace. Pray for those coming and going. Pray for those on a plane, train, automobile. Pray for those that are serving, have served, post-served, fighting with PTSD. Pray for those that are in. Pray for those that are in uniform: firefighters, firemen, firewomen, policemen, policewomen, rescue, first responders. Pray for everybody in the medical field and outside the medical field wanting a better day. Pray for those that are looking for food, shelter, the basic necessities to live, that tomorrow is a better day than it is today. That the world shows more empathy for those who have mental, physical, emotional, psychological distress. That tomorrow they have less suffering than they do today. Pray tomorrow that we have more compassion than I do today. My name is Kevin Douglas Berg. I'm here to provoke thought and move humanity forward. Thank you. Kevin out. You guys are the best. Okay, that's one.